It's an anniversary of a very special event, which is called the Revelation at Mount Sinai. Revelation means there was something there, but it was not seen, it was not known. When you reveal something, you're not creating something new, you're just making visible that which was not visible. So what became known and visible on Shavuot? So first of all, the Gemara says that the Jews, certainly Shevet Levi, kept all the mitzvahs before they were given. So that was not new. Somebody once pointed out when Moshe came down from the mountain, he had only the book of Bereshit, because that already happened. Then, as the events happened, Moshe was told to write it down. So the other books of the Torah came as they happened. So what happens? Moshe comes down and he shows them Sefer Bereshit. Who was he talking to? He's talking to Avraham Avinu's great-grandchildren. It was only a few generations. In fact, it was only a few generations from the time of Noach. So he comes down and he tells them, look what it says here. There was a flood, everybody got wiped out, except Noach and his family, and he took 2 of every animal. Did they not already know this story? They must have. Avraham was 58 years old when Noach died. And he sat Shiva for him. So Avraham knew Noach. So if you come to the great-grandchildren and say, your great-grandfather built an ark and he was swimming around when the whole world was flooded, and they never heard this story, are they going to believe you? So how come I never heard the story? My grandfather? Of course they knew the story. They probably knew more details than is written in the Torah. So the history was not news to them. That was not a revelation. The mitzvot, they already knew, they were keeping them already. What was new? So let's use the story of the Mabul as the perfect example. They knew the story. They knew when it started, the flood, and they knew when it ended, and they knew that Noach was 600 years old when he went into the ark, and he was 601 years old when he came out. Of course they knew this. This was their grandfather. And it was an event that you don't forget so easily. So how could they not know? So what was the Torah telling them that was new? There can only be one thing. They heard the story from Noach. They never heard it from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. They never heard the story from his side. Why did he do it? What was he thinking? This they didn't know. So what was revealed? Not the story, but God's version. What he thought and what he felt and why he did it. So, for example, Noach could tell his children, God came to me and told me to make an ark and that I'm going to survive. But the Torah can tell you that the people were very bad, but Noach Motza chen be'enei Hashem. How could Noach say that? So what does the Torah tell us? About God, not about the event. The event we knew already. The same is true with the mitzvot. We knew that Shabbos is Shabbos and kosher is kosher. We knew all that. In fact, Noach already knew that you take 2 animals of the non-kosher and 7 of the kosher. So he already knew which animals are kosher, which animals are not. So what did the Torah tell us that revealed something that we didn't know? We didn't know that this was important to God. We thought it was important to us. Like even today, there are people who'll say, well, of course you have to keep kosher because non-kosher animals are not healthy. It's good for you to keep kosher. You won't get sick. That's what people thought before Shavuot. But when Vayered Hashem el Har Sinai, when God comes down to talk to you, then you find out what His interest is, His side of the story. Otherwise, we could make up all sorts of excuses, philosophies, reasons that are not true. So, what are we celebrating on Shavuot? Not the learning of the Torah. That we celebrate on Simchat Torah. What do we celebrate on Shavuot? A unique relationship, a closeness with God that didn't begin until Shavuot. So, what happened on Shavuot? God made His relationship with us very personal. So the mitzvot are not just good ideas, good advice, health laws, spiritual laws. No. It's personal. So the Mishna says, Pirkei Avot, the Mishna says, Al tiyu ka'avodim hamishamshim es harav al menas lekabel pras. Don't be like a servant who serves his master for the reward. Be like a servant who serves his master without a reward. What does this mean? It means don't do the mitzvot for the reward. So why couldn't he just say that? Why does the Mishnah have to do such an elaborate, the servant serves his master not for the reward? Just say, don't do mitzvot for the reward. Why shouldn't you do the mitzvah for the reward? Why? Because that'll make you a better, higher, more noble, more idealistic. Do it without reward. If it would simply say, don't do the mitzvah for the reward, we would be very confused. We would be very puzzled. If I'm not doing it for the reward, and the reason and the purpose of the mitzvah is for my reward, then something doesn't make sense. The mitzvot are given for my benefit, but I shouldn't do it for my benefit. That doesn't work. So the Mishnah says, no, it's like a servant with a master. What does that help? Why would a servant serve his master without a reward? Why? Because he has to? Because he has no choice? If he has no choice, then what are you telling me? I have no choice. A servant is not a slave. He does have a choice. So what the Mishnah is saying, a servant who serves his master without thinking of a reward is because the privilege of serving his great master is enough reward for him. But if he's not serving a master, if he's just doing what's best for him, then what do you mean don't think of the reward? What's best for me is the reward. Make sense? So the Mishnah has to put it into the context of two people. There's the servant and there's the master. If the servant can do something for the master, that's his reward. Doesn't need any more. But what does it mean that you can do something for the master? The master needs you. See, if he doesn't need you, you can't really do anything for him. So let me tell you an interesting little incident. I was speaking someplace for a group of women. And one of the women brought her husband. See, he was the only man in the group. So of course he felt like he had to say something to represent mankind. So I was in the middle of talking about something, and he says, "Excuse me, that's only according to Judaism." I said, "I know. This is a class on Judaism." I go back to speaking, he interrupts again. He says, "But that's only according to Judaism." I said, "Did you walk into the wrong room or something?" He doesn't let up. Third time, he says, "You're speaking only according to Judaism, as if Judaism is the only religion? Have you tried Buddhism?" So I see he's not letting go. So I have to answer him. So I said, "I live in Minnesota. At that time, Northwest Airlines had its hub. It was from Minnesota. That was its... So every flight, either to New York or to California, East Coast, West Coast, was all Northwest. They practically had the whole airport. So imagine if somebody would stop me at the airport and say, "I notice every time you come to the airport, Northwest, Northwest." What is it, the only airport? The only airline? Have you tried Southeast? What would my answer be? What do you mean, try Southeast? Southeast goes to Florida. I'm going to New York. So what are you saying? Why are you going with Northwest? Why can't you go with Southeast? If I wanted to go to Florida, I would go with Southeast. But if I want to go to New York, Northwest takes me to New York. In other words, I don't care what the name of the airline is. I'm not looking for an airline. I'm looking to get to New York. Same is true with religion. Nobody goes looking for a religion. Hey, you have a religion? Every religion has a destination, a purpose. You want something. You go with the religion that offers you what you're looking for. Yeah? So he says, have you tried Buddhism? What's Buddhism? If you want enlightenment and you want to be completely happy and blissful for the rest of your life, Buddhism will teach you how to do it. So what do you mean, try Buddhism? If I wanted to be that happy, I would try Buddhism, because it's the only one that takes you there. But I don't want to be that happy. It's not Jewish. To be that happy doesn't feel right. Never complain again. Not interested. So what do you mean try Buddhism? To see if it really makes you happy. What is this, an experiment? I don't want to be that happy. Leave me alone. So what if, instead of trying to be so happy, I want to be saved? I don't want to go to Gehenna. I want to be saved from Satan. I don't want to go to hell. So, which religion am I going to... It's like going to the airport. You take a look on the board. Salvation, Christian Airlines. It's the only one. So if that's what I wanted, I would do Christianity. Actually, that's not what I want. Not go to Gehenna. And not be with my friends. Who am I going to talk to in Shamayim? Who? Avraham Avinu. I don't know what to say to him. I don't know. What can we possibly discuss? The Yankees? The Mets? What am I going to... So I'm not trying to avoid going to Gehenna. If everybody goes, I'll go with them. So Christianity, I'm not interested. No? What's left? Right. If I was interested in reward in heaven, like the Muslims get, then of course I would become a Muslim. Why? It's the only one that offers it. If you want 72 virgins, don't become a Catholic. Have some sense. Okay, so nobody goes looking for a religion. You go looking for a destination. Where do you want to end up? What's the destination of Judaism? It's a big compliment to Bnei Yisrael that for most of our history, we never thought about it. We never even thought about it. If you keep all the mitzvot, where are you going to go? Who cares? That is a real compliment. But it's good to know, what is your destination? What is your goal? What are you trying to accomplish? Judaism is completely different. You're not trying to get yourself somewhere. You're trying to bring God down to earth. Why? Because that's what he wants. So Vayered Hashem el Har Sinai, God came down to Har Sinai. He didn't take Moshe up to Shamayim. And what is he telling us? In Shamayim I have angels, I don't need you. I need you to bring me into this world that everybody should know and understand what the world is for. And in other words, bring heaven down to earth. So what is our goal? What is our destination? We want to make God the king of this world. Why? That's what he asked. Now this is really revolutionary thinking because we have forgotten. Don't do the mitzvah for the reward. Why? Because your reward is nothing compared to his reward. What you do for him is much, much greater than what he does for you. When you think about it, all the brachot that we ask for in Shmona, in the Amidah, Mevarech Hashanim, Rofei Cholim, it's good. It's not nearly as important as what we do for him. Let's understand this. There's a man, I forget where he is, India, I think. He's suing his parents for giving birth to him without his permission. Yeah? So when I first heard that, I thought, what is this, a joke? No, he's really suing his parents. So what is he, crazy? Actually, he's very smart. No? It makes a lot of sense. You didn't ask me if I want to be born. You went ahead and you gave birth to me, and now I have to go to school? Now I have to get a job? Now I have to clean up my room? And whatever else you're going to put on me. I have to lose weight, I have to exercise, I have to go here, I have to go there. What do you mean? I didn't ask for any of this. It's not my problem. You gave birth to me, you paid a bill. Which is what he wants. He wants his parents to pay all his bills for the rest of his life. But doesn't that make sense? If I didn't ask to be born, it's because I don't need to be. I don't need this. So you create me anyway, and then I'm responsible? How did this happen? For some reason, and it would be interesting to make a study about it, but for some reason, all the pressure, all the responsibility, all the expectation and demands are on us. We have to. We have to be religious. We have to keep the mitzvot. We have to avoid sin. We have to keep Shabbat. We have to keep... Wait a minute. How did this happen? I have to? I don't have to. I don't. I don't need to be born. I don't need to be here. I don't need any of this. So what are you telling me? I have to keep kosher? I don't. And this is such a fundamental, simple thing that nobody understands it. Because the more obvious something is, the less people understand it. So listen to what happens. A boy is in yeshiva, and he's doing fine until he turns 15. He turns 15, and all of a sudden he's not so interested. So everybody in his family, in the yeshiva, in the synagogue, everybody is after him. You have to. And he says, I don't have to. Who's right? Who's right? He is right. He doesn't have to. You have to fix the world. You have to tikkun olam. I have to. I don't have to. And the teachers and the rabbi, yeah, you have to, you must. What's going to be with you? I don't have to. Yeah, you do have to. There's no communication here. And who is right? The boy is right. Doesn't have to. You gave birth to me, you do it. And we can say the same thing to God. You created me, and now I have to eat, and I have to pay bills, and I don't have to. So psychologically, just for our own health, we have to recognize that we don't ask to be born, we don't need to be born, we don't need to be here. How am I suddenly responsible So that the message that we've been getting for generations, no, what's going to be with you? You have to be a mensch. Grow up, get a job, be responsible, go to school, get good. Hey. I don't need this. So now you're going to threaten me. Oh, if you don't do this, you're going to go to Gehenna. Thank you very much. You don't ask me if I want to be born. You make me anyway. You give me a bunch of burdens that I don't need, and if I don't do it, you're going to punish me? What kind of deal is this? So what is the truth? The truth is, you don't need Buddhism, and you don't need Christianity, and you don't need Islam. Those are all burdens. We are not here to have burdens. He created the world. He has a burden. He's the creator. It's his world. He has needs. He needs the world to be holy. He needs people to do this. He needs people to do that. So he comes down to Har Sinai and he gives us the Torah. What is the Torah? What we need to know? No, we don't need anything. It's what he needs, because he's the creator. His needs are important. My needs? First of all, my needs change from year to year. Yesterday I thought I needed a big car. Now I need a little car. Yesterday I thought I need a big apartment. Now it's too big. I need a smaller apartment. So my needs, they're silly. I can't even make up my mind. I need this, I need the opposite. I do need it, I don't need it. And even what I need, I'm only going to need for 80, 90 years. I mean, what he needs is forever and ever. So what does it mean? Don't do the mitzvah for the reward. It's not sacrifice. Sacrifice all the rewards and just be a tzaddik and do. No. It's not a sacrifice. You don't really have any needs. Who burdened you like this? Who put so much pressure on you? Who put so much guilt on you? You don't need this. You came into the world because he needs you. That's it. So when you want to talk about the mitzvot, you don't say, you have to keep Shabbat, you have to keep kosher, you have to... No. He needs you to keep kosher, he needs you to keep Shabbat. Why? He wants to have you in a relationship with him that is very personal. How personal? If he's keeping Shabbat, he wants you to keep it with him. Can you imagine you're keeping Shabbat, you're sitting by your table, you're making Kiddush, and your children don't come to the table? How does that feel? So what do you need from your children? That they should be more religious? No. You need them to be yours. If you're sitting by the table, they should be sitting with you. Why? Because they're yours. How did you end up in different rooms? How did you get so split? So Hashem, God says, I keep Shabbat, so keep it with me. I am holy, so be holy with me. I didn't create the pig for you to eat it, so don't eat it. So if you're keeping Shabbat, you need a reward. You don't need a reward. If your Father in heaven is sitting by his Shabbat table, of course you're going to sit with him. And you expect him to pay you? That's so nasty. That's like asking your father to pay you if you sit through Kaddish. Imagine a man says to a woman, I love you because you're rich. I love you for your money. And I want to marry you for your money.
He's honest.
Yeah. He's practical. He's realistic. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with saying, I want to marry you for your money? Terrible? Yeah?
Changeable.
Seems to me like it's a perfect shidduch. He loves money and she has money. It's perfect. It's a match made in heaven. What's wrong with it is that it is terribly insulting. If a man says, I want to marry you for your money, so what he's actually saying is, I would just like to have the money. Can I just have the money? No. I have to marry you to get the money. Okay, I'll marry you. But if you could just give me the money, and I don't have to marry you, that would be perfect. You see how insulting this is? Can you just give me the money? No? So mean. But you see, the same is true if I say, I want to marry you for love. It's not the same thing? I want to marry you so that you will love me. What I'm saying is this. Can I get just the love without the rest of you? Just love me. Don't give me your opinion. Don't give me your feelings. Don't give me your personality. Just give me the love. I just want the... Can I just have the love without you? No? Okay, I'll marry you. But if the love goes away, I don't need you. Same as the money. So imagine a man says to a woman, please marry me. I can't live without you. Should she marry him? If she has money. He says, I can't live without you. Boy, that's a serious problem. Go get help. You don't need a wife, you need a shrink. You can't live without me? Why would I marry you? But on the other hand, if a man says to a woman, please marry me, I can live without you. Will she marry him? You can live without me, so gesundheit. Live. So what should a man say? If he says, I can't live without you, he's sick. If he says, I can live without you, he's not interesting. So, what should a man say? A man should say what God said to us, because it worked. He said to us, Anechi Hashem Elekecha, I am God. I can exist without you. Very well. But what meaning would it have to exist without you? It's not a life. So can I exist without you? Yes, I know how to cook. I know how to do laundry. I can live without you. But what's the point? This is what God said to us at Har Sinai. Anochi Hashem. I am God. I'm perfect. I created the whole world. Anochi Hashem. But Elekecha, I need to be yours. Otherwise, what's good about being perfect? Being perfect isn't good. You know what I mean by that? Being perfect means you're complete. What's good? What's right about it? There's nothing good about it, nothing right about it. You're perfect, you're perfect. So, especially if you're perfect like Hashem. Without creating the world, who is he going to tell that he's perfect? Who's going to admire him for being perfect? There's nobody else. Being perfect is not a compliment. That he is not happy without us, that's a compliment. That's good. So imagine there's a man who is absolutely perfect. He can take care of himself perfectly. He doesn't need anything. It's good? There's nothing good. There's just him. But if he wants somebody else in addition to himself, that's goodness. That comes from goodness, not from perfection. So in addition to being perfect, you also need to be good. And good means good to somebody, good with somebody. So if God doesn't need anything, then he's irrelevant. If you say he is perfect, he doesn't need anything, okay, then there's no point in talking about him. What makes God God is that as perfect as he is not happy being just himself. Like a man who says, I can live without you. But for what? Where's the goodness? So what's going to happen on Shavuot? 3,330 years later. What is it, 30? This year is 31? Huh? Yeah, 31. So it's going to be 3,331 years that he is waiting for us to do what he needs. Can you imagine? If we are busy and distracted and consumed by what we need, this is not what he would. This was not the deal he wanted. So what does it say in the Aseret HaDibrot? Anechi Hashem Elikecha Asher Heitzesicha Me'eretz Mitzrayim. What is God saying? God is saying, look, you were having a problem. You were a little bit unhappy there in Mitzrayim, so I took you out. Okay? So I did for you what you needed. Now, can you do for me what I need? So what is Torah? What is Judaism? Judaism is doing for him what he needs, because his need is much more important than mine. And if I can do for him, I don't need any more reward than that. And that's why when we do for him, we do it b'simcha. Why? Because if I'm thinking about what I need, I'm already not b'simcha. As soon as I think about what I need, I'm a little depressed. Because why am I not getting what I need? Why am I getting only half of what I need? Why am I getting only one of the things I need? I need two things. And then if you get it, everything you need, you start feeling guilty. How come I'm the one getting everything and my neighbor is suffering? Do I really deserve this much? So either way, you can't win. The only way to be b'simcha is if it's his plan, it's his need, it's his urgency, and I can do something for him. I would much rather do for him than for myself. So here is a very simple, healthy, modern way of describing Shavuot. God came down to Mount Sinai and he gave us a choice. Do you want to be needy? You want to be a needy person? Or do you want to be needed? That's it. That's your choice in life. Until Shavuot, there was no choice. You were needy and that's it. You needed him because without him you can't do anything. Without him you won't succeed. You needed him. On Shavuot, we were given a bechira. We were given a choice. Now you have the option. You can stop being needy and be busy being needed. Make sense? No, so what would you rather be? Needy or needed? And the same is true with a marriage. In a marriage, you have the same choice to make. Are you needy? You need something from your husband? You need something from your wife? Or many things? You're not going to be happy. But if you feel needed, you will be serving, doing, going out of your way, happily, not compromising or sacrificing. And the truth is, maybe modern psychology doesn't recognize this, but the truth is, we need to be needed much more than we need to be loved. Love is like the cherry on the top. You don't need it. You can have a cake without a cherry, but a cherry without cake. So this year on Shavuot, let's get it straight. We thank Hashem, we thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu for letting us know that we have the option of doing for him. How do we have that option? Because he came down to Har Sinai and he told us, this is what I need. 613. Pick whichever one you want. But do something for him. It will make you healthier. It will make you happier. It will make you godlier. Because when you're doing his thing, you become like him. Make sense? Yeah? So, how is it possible that God, who is so perfect, needs anything? Isn't that a contradiction? It would be a contradiction if God needed something. He doesn't need anything. It's like the husband who says, I can live without you. I don't need anything. But without you, what good are all the things that I have? Because I have everything. So God says, I have everything. I'm completely perfect. But so what? Without you? So imagine If I wanted you, I need you, not something from you. You don't have to do anything for me, just be with me, which is what everybody wants. Right? Just accept me for who I am. Okay. So imagine that I just need you, I don't need anything, and I don't need anything from you. I just need you, and you're not there. You're not available. If I need you and you're not in my life, what am I missing? Am I imperfect? What am I missing? I'm missing you. That makes me imperfect? You're missing in my life. I'm still perfect, but I don't have you. That's the nature of our relationship with Hashem. He doesn't need anything from us. He's God. So what does he need? Just that we should be his. V'atem tihiyu li. Be mine. And that's why if you're not keeping all the mitzvot, he still needs you. Maybe he needs you even a little more. Like the child who doesn't come to the Shabbat table. His father doesn't need him anymore. He needs him a little more desperately. Right? So what's going to happen when Mashiach comes? The world's going to be perfect. How come? What's going to happen is going to make the world perfect. It only takes one little change. Imagine tomorrow morning, everybody in the world wakes up and says, hey, I don't need anything. I didn't ask